What up everyone, welcome back to the channel. Jahmal here, and in today's video we're going to continue our Appium series. So in this video you're going to learn to use Appium within Java inside of Eclipse, the IDE that I'm going to be using today, and run your very first mobile automation script. So let's hop into it. So the first thing I'm going to do is open up my Launchpad and search for Eclipse. That's my IDE of choice. And that's going to go into my YouTube section. Alright, so I have an old project up. So what we're going to do is go to the top and file. You're going to go to new, click other, and what we're going to do is a new Maven project. Click next, click the checkbox that says create a simple project, use the default workspace location, that looks good, and click next. For your group ID, I'm just going to call this Appium demo, and you're going to use the same group ID for your artifact ID, so Appium demo. Alright, so now that we have that, that looks good, and what we're going to do is just click finish. So now we have our Appium demo project right here. And what we're going to do is hop over to the pom.xml file, and what we're going to do is go to Maven repository and bring back some of the artifacts that we're going to be using, or the dependencies such as JUnit, Selenium, and Appium. Those are the three dependencies I'm going to be using. So I'm just going to hop over to Google, open up my Safari, Google, type in Maven repository, and we're going to click the very first link. So within Maven repository you're going to get the search bar, and the first one we're going to search for is Appium. So we got the Java client, so this is what we need, and we're going to download, I like taking one that's stable, so 7.3 and popular. So this one is pretty good. What you're going to do is just copy this, and within your pom.file, before you can paste that dependency in there, you're going to open up a new line, or enter a new line, and you're going to open up with the dependency tag. So dependencies, so it's going to be plural, close it, and now we can put our dependency in here. So each dependency is going to go in here, so just paste, and we have our Appium Java client. We are on version 7.30, so I'm going to hop back over to Maven. I'm going to look for Selenium Java. So here we go, Selenium Java. Again, I'm going to use this one, the one with the most usage, and we can just copy and paste. So we have our Appium client, we have our Java. The next one we're going to use is JUnit. It's not a must, but it's a nice to have. Got the J. There we go. So JUnit. As we can see, there's some vulnerabilities out there currently right now. So let's go to this one. This one seems pretty stable. And what we're going to do is just paste this into a POM file as well. And to make your formatting looking a little better, you can do Command A and then click Command Shift F. So that should make your indentation and your formatting a little better. And we're going to click Save. So now if you look over here to the left, you see the Maven dependencies. So all of these jars are being brought back from the POM file, and that's exactly what we want to see. Next, what I want to do is make sure that these dependencies are installed. So what I'm going to do is just go to run as Maven install. And let's see what happens. Okay, so we can see the build succeed, and this will just happen. Just scan the project, it did its thing, and it's finished. So we know that Maven is set up right. And the last thing I want to do is just update the project. So Maven, update the project. Click OK. Now the JRE system library, so they say we're running J2SE15, but I like to run Java 1.8. So if I go down, you can see Java SE 1.8. I can click apply and close, and then this is going to look like that. So if I go to Maven, update the project, sometimes it revert. So you see it reverted right back to the 1.5. So in order to fix that, we have to add our properties, and we normally add it right after the version. So I have a piece of that I can copy. So I'm going to go to my notes, and I'm going to copy this little piece of property. I'm just going to paste this here. So now let's do our formatting. Command A, then Command Shift F, and then I'm going to save that. So this is our properties. So we have the source 1.8, 1.8, our compiler, and this is what we need in order to keep the JRE system set. So now if I go back into Appium and I go to Maven, update the project, I click OK, it's now pointing to the 1.8, which is perfect. All right, enough of that. All right, so now that we have our POM file and Maven and everything set up, what we're going to do is go into test Java, and we're going to create a new package. So you can call to a package, you can call it I'm just going to say Appium test. Click finish, and within this we can do a new class. I'm going to call it Appium demo, and what I would like to do is enable bring in the public static void main. I'm going to bring in that method. Alright, so everything looks good. Now it's time to write our script. So the first thing I want to do is initialize my driver. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is say public static, and this is going to be an Appium driver, and you have to add this mobile element tag to it, and we're going to name this driver. So now all we have to do is import these dependencies to clear up some of these little red squigglies or errors. Click save, and now we have our driver initialized. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just create a test method. So I'm going to just say public void. In this case, we have to be static void, and what I'm going to name it is just going to call it Appium test 1. Alright, save that. So what we're going to do inside this method is create our capabilities, create and launch the driver so we can get to our contacts page. So that's essentially what that's going to do. So we're going to set up our desired capabilities right now. So in order to do that, what we're going to do is type desired capabilities. Some people like to call it cap, so that's the variable name I'm going to give it, and it's going to be equal to new desired capabilities. Make sure I didn't make any mistakes in my spelling. Okay, that looks good, and everything in perfect. So now we have that object. So what we're going to do is say caps.set capability, and we're just going to give it the capability name and the string value. So we're just going to be using this method. So in order to find the capability name, if you hop over to our Appium server inspector, make sure that you have it launched so we can take a look at our desired capabilities that we set earlier. And since I'm here, let's start the server. So start up your server, keep it running, and let's hop back here. So we're just going to copy these platform name That's just the capability name that we're going to be using. And you're going to paste this in a string, and the value for this is Android. So let's enter Android, and we're just going to copy and paste this for the rest of them. So I'm just copy, speed things up a little bit. So I'm going to need a platform name, I'm going to need a version, I'm going to need automation, app package, and app activity. So we can do platform version. I'm just going to copy and paste this just for time's sake. Device name, Pixel 4. There is another capability that's called UDID. Sometime that may be needed. I can show you how to get that. Pretty much it's like UDID. In order to get that value, you normally go into, let's say, you go open your terminal and do ADB devices. And it's going to tell you all your devices that's connected, and this is going to be the UDI. So if you have a real device, you do the same thing, and it's going to bring up that UDI for you, UDID. You can just paste that in here. That's something I didn't show in the other video, but I figured it's a good time to show it now. You can use either one, device name or UDID. You don't have to use both. Just add a quick comment to that for now. Next we're going to add is the automation name. And I need to copy this 2 more times for my package and for my activity. So we're going to do Appium app package. And I think you can keep the prefix as well. The prefix shouldn't bother the script, but just like the code nice and clean. So let me update these 2 values. So com.android.contacts, and then this is the com.android contacts activities people activity. That's a mouthful. All right, boom. So that looks good. So we have our desired capabilities. That's almost half the battle. Next we want to now fire it up the mobile app so it can go to the contacts page. And what we need to do right now is say URL is equal to new URL, and we can just paste whatever that URL is. So it's just going to be a combination of the remote host, the port, as well as the remote path. To set that up, let's bring in these dependencies. So that looks good. New URL, and we're going to surround this with a try and catch. Give it some space. All right, so the URL in this case is going to be http:// and we're going to enter the host 127.0.0.1. We're going to add a colon for our port 4723. And we're going to add the remote path, so /wd/hub, and we're going to enter 1 more slash. And yep, that looks good. So now that we have our URL, what we're going to do is now tell the driver to, hey, let's interact with this URL. Let's fire up and talk to the server. All right, so what we're going to do is say driver equal new Appium driver. So what that's going to be is we're going to put the URL, so the URL that we're going to be using, as well as the caps. Alright, so now just need to add the argument, and the argument it's missing is mobile element. Alright, so we say driver equal new Appium driver, mobile element, and missing our parentheses, URL, you add your comma caps. Alright, so what we want to do to make sure that this is working, we can do a quick test. So what we're going to do is just add this method in our main class. So something like that, and then you're going to right click and make sure your Appium server is running. Make sure you have your emulator up and loaded, and we are going to do a quick test to make sure that it can get to the contacts page. So we got some interaction over here on the server. Alright, so the app loaded to the contacts page, and we still have the contact Jahmal Richard that we created in our previous video. Alright, so I'm going to end it right here for the day. So in the next video, I'm just going to show you how you can create a new contact. You're just going to click some of these buttons like cancel and enter our first name, last name, and the phone number via automation. So if you guys want to see that in the next video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the other video.